Hi, guys. We're back again with Lorraine, my little sister. So, our conversation for today is going to be a little bit deep. I want us to talk about something that a lot of people deal with, and then you can share if you have experienced it before anxiety. Have you ever experienced anxiety?
Yeah, I think I have. I feel like I experience anxiety on a day to day basis.
And what do you think causes it? How do you feel when you're anxious?
When you're anxious, I feel my heart starts pumping. I'm like, my thoughts are like very jumbled up in my brain. Sometimes I feel like my visions gets blurry and I can't catch a breath. That's how I feel when I have anxiety. And I think what causes anxiety is truly pressure. Like we push ourselves to like a limit that sometimes we don't even understand ourselves.
Lorraine.
So, in the end of the day, when I experienced anxiety, it started in nursing school. Actually, I've experienced anxiety since I was a teenager, but it didn't start manifesting itself.
It's matriculating, yeah?
Yeah, until I was like in nursing school and I'm sitting there taking this test and I'm like, oh my God, now my heart rate is just going and I can't get my thoughts together. And it's like a panic attack. You're having a panic attack and a meltdown in yourself that nobody else can see but yourself. And that feeling is just so like detrimental to everybody's health. But there's a way to cope with it.
Okay. So before we go into like the coping mechanisms, you're saying your heart is racing. You are panicking, basically, right? You can't seem to center your thoughts, but it's building up from somewhere, right? And you're saying pressure. Is it pressure with family? Is it pressure with friends? Is it pressure with self? What kind of pressure?
I think it's pressure with self.
Okay.
So when you start with self, your self leads you to your family, your friends, the world, how they view you. You're
Okay.
nervous about how other people are seeing you at that current moment. So it definitely manifests with self. If you don't get a hold of who you are and how confident you have to be moving around and telling yourself on a day to day basis that you are okay, that yes, it's okay to make mistakes, you know.
So if correct me if I'm wrong. So basically, what you're saying is it's pressures both from within your own self, like feeling like sometimes you're not measuring up to the expectations one of yourself and also the expectations of people like family, friends, society at large, because there is a demand on you to be responsible and to perform, right? A certain kind of way. So sometimes when you're not feeling like you're living up to par, you start being hard on yourself and you start to panic. Um, and then now I'm going to go to the part where you said there is a trick to it. What is your trick? What is your coping mechanism?
Okay. So with anxiety always comes pressure, right?
Right.
How do you relieve that pressure? So sometimes people go into depression because of anxiety because their body just shuts down and uses all that energy just to accomplish that task, right? So that's what causes to go into depression.
Right.
Now, if you take a second to actually take a breath and think about how you achieved that goal, whatever thing that you're getting to, you have to breathe through it. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep going. And I say the most important thing people can do is sleep. Sometimes sleeping helps a
The
lot.
sleep girl.
Yeah, I'm a sleepy girl. But there's a reason to it. There's a reason to the madness because we're burning energy as we're feeling pressure, right? And then when we get into that burned energy, that leads to depression. Now, instead of going head on to that struggle, to that depression, you have to take
Pace
the time.
yourself.
Yes,
Calm down. Yeah.
yes. So when you do that, you're taking breaths in between the next task.
All right.
Especially when you're faced with a hard situation right now, like when you're talking to me, I have to think about the question.
Yeah.
Instead of me getting so anxious, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Breathe and
Breathe
process
it, think about it, and just
and then
tell yourself it's
respond.
okay. Yeah, tell
Yeah.
yourself it's okay that you made a mistake or whatever comes out is going to be
Yeah.
whatever.
And that's why, like, on this panel, like, I throw questions at you because I want you to be as honest as you are. It's not an exam question.
Yeah.
It's about how we cope in real life because it's not about giving people the answers that they think they want to hear, but it's about real life conversations,
Right.
how you cope with situations. You have people coping in ways that are actually causing a lot more distress and more problems, right? So with anxiety, there are different ways to go about it. For you, you said, oh, you sleep it out and it works for you. But then there are other people that get very anxious, they can't even sleep, right? So with those people, what do they do? Sometimes you do need to seek professional help. You
Yes.
need to seek counseling. You need to go and seek aid. If you're a part of a good church, go and speak to the pastors that can mentor you and train your mind. So retrain your mind. You need to be taught how to pray, how to worship. And if it's gone beyond the level of just pure human understanding, sometimes you do need that psychological
Yeah.
help, counseling.
Of course.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't.
doctors.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was about to say that another coping mechanism.
English is hard. Yes, coping mechanism. Yeah.
Another coping mechanism that I would recommend and strongly recommend is to see a therapist. Sometimes we have a lot to say, and the people around us,
They don't want to hear it.
they don't want to hear
They're
it. Or
tired.
if they hear it, they're judging you all the way.
Right.
So sometimes it's always good to just get an unbiased opinion and vent all those thoughts that you're having.
Yeah.
And sometimes your thought that you have today is not going to be the same thought as tomorrow. Like you said, prayer and all
Prayer
that
and honor.
meditation. Sometimes it can be hard for people to talk to strangers, right?
Right.
So you pray through it, right? But I still feel like you need to unload that load on somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't
The
recommend
right person.
I was
You
about to
can't
say I
unload
don't.
onto the wrong people because they
Yes.
might advise you incorrectly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't recommend just going to anybody and just talking
Vomiting.
how you feel. I recommend you really sit there and think about who can understand me in this situation. Not everybody is meant to give you the advice that you want
Seek
to
licensed
have.
professionals.
I recommend a
Yeah.
professional.
At least they've
Because-
gone through the training. They might not really
Yeah.
understand, but
And
they
when they
kind
want to
of
offer you pills, say
help.
no. Mm-mm.
You
You don't
say
need,
no.
get your prayer. Like get your prayer. Just because I know,
I don't know.
like I said, I
Some
didn't.
people need it,
Yeah.
but it just depends on how far
Exactly.
gone you are. But seek the help,
Yeah.
at least with professionals that have been there. But for me, like I said, it's a faith based perspective. My
I
first
agree.
therapist is Jesus Christ.
I agree.
So I'll offload there. And then when that is not working, community is important. Get the right community, the right people around you. Talk it out and learn master ways, to deal with how you feel. Because remember, like the movie we watched yesterday, he said choices, like for example, forgiveness, it's not about how you feel, but it's a choice. You make a choice to forgive. You make a choice to heal. Like with anxiety,
That's
yeah.
kind of like anxiety. It's the
Choose
same
to
thing.
heal, yeah.
But then I really sounded crazy when I said that don't take medication for it.
It's okay.
Because some people do have their own like that they need something else to like bring their heart rate down.
I think it has to be diagnosed properly. You can't just take
Yes,
anything,
yeah.
any pill. Like I'm with you on that because there are people that self medicate. They'll just go and buy over the counter medications.
Even though speaking to
Yeah.
therapists too, they be because I remember I was seeing a therapist in the beginning. They're like, "Oh, do you think
Yeah.
you want to take this and that?"
Right.
And I'm like, I thought about it, but I'm just like, no, I don't want to do this
Exactly.
because the long term effects, and I want to know how to cope for myself.
And it should be like you should use willpower.
Exactly.
Because I believe it's designed.
Yes.
You're designed to be able to overcome things.
Exactly.
But then there are people that are completely far gone. Like sometimes people totally lose their mind and they need that tapering to get back. So with that, then you seek professionals that can assist you in that direction. So once again, it's not a one answer for everybody. There are stages depending on your situation. So if you are anxious, if you are depressed, if you are sad and very unhappy, in a way that you know this is affecting your daily life, you cannot concentrate, you're having panic attacks, go and seek help. Mental health is very serious. It's important to have good mental health, and yeah, don't be afraid that people think you're crazy.
And I also
Find a
think like
solution.
I think like having the pandemic, it kind of brought out America's fear of mental health. Like before, back in the day, I feel like talking about your issues, talking about oh mental health, da da da, I have anxiety. It was looked at and frowned upon. Like it definitely was. After COVID, I feel like people are more open to expressing themselves to say that, hey, I'm not in a good space right now. What can I do to get better? And they started
Right.
creating outlets for people.
Yeah.
During that time, we had like a high rate of suicide, and most of them were due to depression and anxiety.
Exactly.
So now, like, when we talk about mental health, it's just, I feel like 99% of everybody does have mental health problems,
Yeah.
but it's just how you really cope with the day to day. And just because
Yeah.
you don't see somebody saying they don't have anxiety attacks or whatever like that.
Doesn't mean they don't have it.
Exactly.
Functional.
Yes, there's high functioning
High
people.
functional people,
Yes.
but they do have anxiety and depression and stress, and and people can perform greatly in other areas, but still they are struggling. So if you do know, it's not something for somebody else to tell you, but if you do know you need help, there are resources out there. Look for help. Look for a strong community. Like I said, look for a strong church, strong friends, so that you can be able to find the necessary help you need, heal and thrive. Thank you once again for tuning in to MVB. Until we meet again, will you come back?
I will definitely come back if you let me back.
Guys, if you want her to come back, leave comments down below, ask questions so that we can bring her back to the hot seat. Thank you, everyone. Bye.